how does reciprocity become very different for people? Do you think that people generally are shy of sharing their own contact list? Can you elaborate how reciprocity contributes to these three words? What is the thought process of giving a 30-minute slot? So, how does a typical Monday morning look like? There is a mix of all age groups. How do these people gel together? Has it ever happened to you that you just helped somebody out of nowhere and something happened and somebody helped you out? What word of wisdom that you have for youngsters in opening up?
Okay, so that's a lot of points for me to address, but I will start with the social climber bit that you started with.
It is often said that if you connect with people who love to drink, you will soon end up in a bar. If you connect with people who love to gamble, I will see you at the casino. And if you want to make it big in life and in business and you are career oriented, who should you spend the maximum time with? If this quote really makes a lot of sense to you, then this episode is for you. Hello, friends. My name is Mohit Narang, and welcome to the debut program of Gurugram Pod. Today on my show is a very, very dear friend, mentor, and more like a sister today, Kanchan Satpathy, who runs an incredible forum in Gurugram known as Reciprocity. You guys must have seen snippets of this program on my YouTube and my Instagram channel. And if you are new to our page today, don't forget to like and follow. And I'm going to share some links of Kanchan's reciprocity program in the description below so that we all stay connected. Kanchan, welcome to the show and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Mohit. A pleasure to be with you, and most importantly, hearing you speak such good things about me and reciprocity makes me feel
we're
good.
just getting warmed up.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so Kanchan, the reason to have you on our debut podcast today is everybody wants to be in the right set of people, the right set of connection. And we know for the last 10 years almost, you have been running an incredible forum in Gurugram, which is called Reciprocity. Tell us more about your forum.
So, Mohit, you started off very well, and what you said made a lot of sense. And I believe in this one saying that we are a sum total of the 5 to 7 people we hang out with. So, you get to choose what is it that you want to become. And then you are in the company of those people. And that is basically the basis, the foundation of why we started Reciprocity. Because being part of networking forums, we realized that it was great to network, it was great to meet new people. But at the same time, if you're in a very large group, you still end up only being with 8 to 10 or 12 maximum people who you can align your thoughts with. And that's when we realized that to be a part of a networking community or to be a part of a set of people who you think will add value to your life, you don't have to be a part of 50, 100, 200 people community. You can have a handful of people who you surround yourself with, who make most sense to you, who you think you will grow personally and professionally. It's enough. And that's how reciprocity came into being.
So, guys, I'll take a moment here to tell you that my first interaction with Kanchan Satpathy was at a networking forum. I never thought that she will end up to be my mentor and the sister that she's playing today. Thank you so much for being in my life, Kanchan.
Thank you, Mohit.
You know, you are somebody that I really get inspired from. And not only me, I'm sure all of us in our group, they look forward to your suggestions. And I think that if I had missed that networking Monday or Tuesday that day, it would have been a loss of connect.
Absolutely.
And that connect that I cherish the most today. So what I'm wanting to understand next from you is people have a fixated mindset that we'll go to a networking organization, we'll share some business cards, and we're going to give them a call, we're expecting some business. How does reciprocity become very different for people?
So, networking forums have this perspective. People have this perspective of networking forums that you will go, you will meet people, you will hand out your card, and the next day you will start getting calls. But that's not how it works. Networking means that you need to work on the network you have. It does not mean that you hand out your cards and people will come back to you. How reciprocity works is that we very simply tell people who want to be a part of reciprocity or this community or want to become a part of a networking community is practice reciprocity.
Yeah,
That's the philosophy.
That's a great thing to say.
You start giving and you will start receiving. And it's not transactional like a machine, like a dispensing machine, that when you put a coin inside, you get the can right from there. This is the rule of the universe.
Right.
You give and you will receive from various quarters.
Guys, Kanchan made an excellent point. We all go with a mindset to a networking forum, and 90% the mindset is, what am I going to gain from there? Do we ever step into a networking forum thinking, what am I bringing to the table today and how this group of people are going to benefit from my network? Do you think that people generally are shy of sharing their own contact list?
Yes, so networking or contact lists or associations essentially are an outcome of the person that you are, or the people that you've been with, or the associations you've had, the relationships you've built. And you'll be very surprised that we say that networking is a very extrovert, activity. But you'll be so surprised that the true networking actually is done by the most introvert people. Because what they do is they have a one-on-one association with the people they meet. And they take it to the next level if they like them. And that's what is networking. Not superficially just meeting and knowing people. When you start meeting people, you start building relationships and associations. That is what I call reciprocity.
I know you for about 15 years now, Kanchan. And we were very young. I mean, in particularly when I joined Business Networking International back then. And, it was a different kind of feeling. I initially got very excited because you get into a community where you meet interesting people. And gradually, I thought to myself that there is no learning curve here. We're all in a fixated environment, and I'm back to school in a good way, but I'm still back to school. The term reciprocity and your tagline is so meaningful. You've got 3 special words to it: lean, learn, and grow. Can you elaborate how reciprocity contributes to these 3 words?
Okay, so that's a question that's completely up my alley because I breathe and I talk of this all the time. So what reciprocity basically is envisaged as, and the vision for us is that an entrepreneur becomes a part of reciprocity and the community. And our tagline is empowering entrepreneurship. How does a person empower an entrepreneur? It helps you professionally, personally, and it helps you develop as an entrepreneur. And how? Is entrepreneurship only about generating business? Is it only about taking the money back home? What is entrepreneurship? It's a transactional way of doing business. And that's what business is. It's transaction. You get paid for something, for a service or a product that you give back. Now that's the core or the basis of it. But to be a good entrepreneur, you need so many other things along with.
Sure.
You need to be able to have good communication skills. You need to be able to articulate well. You need to be able to have good leadership skills to be able to lead your team. Or even when you conduct yourself in an environment outside.
But I think that we shape a lot during our schools and colleges.
Yes, absolutely.
It's got a lot to do our character. By the time people come to your forums, they've already shaped up enough, haven't they?
Yes. So our forum is not an image consulting forum.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right. That's not what we do here. But what we do is give an entrepreneur the validation, the basis of understanding that you are good with whatever you do. Most entrepreneurs today are very shy to speak about their own work. They don't know whether they should go out and talk about themselves or even express their opinion on a topic which is beyond their businesses. Why? Because they just do not have communication skills. they are underconfident.
So you mean to say that a lot of good ideas and a lot of good entrepreneurs with these ideas sometimes lack personal skills that could be polished enough to bring them to actuation, right? But at the same time, I reiterate my question to you back again, that the role of reciprocity. Okay, so you said lean, learn, and grow. Give me specifics of lean, learn, and grow.
So, lean. What is lean?
Yeah,
It's not about leaning on someone.
Yeah.
It's about being able to lean on a set of people, on a community, on a mentor, on a buddy, on somebody who's a friend.
I would rather say somebody I can trust, that I will not fall.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That is what we need today.
sure.
Every entrepreneur needs a set of people or even one person that he can buddy up with and say, okay, at a time when I need to lean on someone, ask for support, could just be emotional support, not necessarily financial support. So today when we talk of an entrepreneur requiring support, it's not just financial. People have money,
Yes.
but they don't have people who can guide them, who can listen to them, who can validate them, who can correct them. That's what the lean part is. So you will find people who are established business owners in Reciprocity who are very willing to mentor you, to buddy up with you, to support you with whatever you want. And the ecosystem that we have created is such. Authenticity is at the essence of it all. Walk into a room to say, what can I give you? And you will see the energy of the room change towards you. And learn. We all need to learn. We are all work in progress, constantly. We've heard of the saying so many times that a rolling stone does not get moss on it.
Yeah,
And if you are stagnant,
yeah, you'll gather a lot of moss.
you will gather a lot of moss.
Absolutely.
So there is no age to learn. You will be surprised that we have the average age of our forum is about 45, 50. We have people who are 60 plus. Now, do you think they need to learn? Yes, ask them. It keeps them young. Learning is so important because there is so much in this world to learn, so much exposure, and it's not necessarily limited to your own professions or your business. There's so much to learn outside. And if you are learning and you have a good set of people who you can lean on, who can validate you, who can correct you, who can check you,
It leads to growth.
it will be growth. It will be personal growth, professional growth, growth in every sphere that you would want.
My biggest takeaway always from a Reciprocity Monday morning has been the subject matter experts who Kanchan Satpathy invites, and the kind of learning curve. So the lean, learn, and grow. I thought that the learning aspect in this forum is 5-star rating. You invite a lot of speakers, okay, and it's always nice to know stories from people, how they've made it big. What is the thought process of giving a 30-minute slot to a speaker and minimizing the time of your own networking group? If you have a 1-hour meeting, what is the thought behind giving half of the time to a speaker?
Okay, so first of all, the meeting is about 90 minutes, 90 to 100 minutes.
Okay.
But 25 to 30 minutes is the time that we give to our speaker. See, we are all established business owners. And for us to sit down for an hour to listen to somebody is not the easiest thing to do. Because we all somewhere in our heads, we feel we are smart enough to know a lot. But in a span of 25 to 30 minutes, when we invite a guest speaker, we tell them to speak on the topic that they are most fluent and they have their expertise in. Because that helps them put across what they know best. That's one. Two, we invite entrepreneurs, we invite business owners, we invite people who are domain experts of a certain domain.
Sure.
And of late, I've realized that it's not necessary to invite a person who's above a certain age or has a certain stature. There are youngsters today in the age of 27, 30, 32, 35, who we at some point thought that what can we learn from them? But you will be surprised, those people, they have so much to offer. Imagine asking a 32-year-old to speak on a topic that is their subject. their domain and they have expertise on, you'll be surprised to see the glint in the eyes when they are speaking to an audience that is way senior or way older to them. They love it.
Sure, because when I see people of 55, 60, they had their own ways of practicing business back then. Today, with the changing landscape, we see a lot of changes. How to sell product, distribution channels have changed. D2C is walked in, and these people get very excited when these young entrepreneurs
Absolutely.
present these kind of ideas to the forum, and it's quite exciting for these entrepreneurs. So let's discuss reciprocity in detail a little bit more. So how does a typical Monday morning look like?
So a typical Monday morning for an offline meeting, because we have 2 offline meetings in a month and we have 2 online meetings alternately. Typical Monday morning starts at 7:30 at the venue, which nowadays is the Crown Plaza. And we have about 15-20 minutes of a little bit of an open networking over a cup of tea or coffee, and just getting a little comfortable with our guest speakers and the guests we invite, catching up with our old members, what happened in the last week. And then the meeting starts at 8 a.m. sharp.
Okay.
And then there are various touch points and engagement and participation points for all members and guests as part of the meeting.
Right.
And we follow the learn, lean, grow to the T.
Okay.
So there is learning initiatives, which is again by members. And the most important part is that when a member comes to present a nugget, a knowledge nugget, he or she is not just educating us, he's educating himself. Because he's done the research to look for a topic to speak to a room full of entrepreneurs and business owners.
So that's a brilliant homework
Absolutely.
that has been well thought of before they can preach.
Isn't that what we do at the business schools?
Of course we do.
We look at topics that are interesting,
Yeah.
that would add value to us, to our professions, or to our personal selves. We understand that. And then you get the opportunity to go and explain it to other people.
Right.
So it just reiterates that in your own head. And for a business owner, he's come there fresh on a Monday morning to get these little snippets of or nuggets of things that we might know, but once they're reiterated, they come back into our system. They become top of the mind recall. And then we have a member presentation, we have a guest speaker who comes and speaks to us. The guest speaker these days, we have an entrepreneurial series going on where we are only inviting entrepreneurs and business owners. And when they ask me, Kanchan, what do you want us to speak about? And some of them are very hesitant because they don't know that how would they address a group of business owners. So I tell them, just relax, look back. Looking back, it's very easy to join the dots. Just narrate your story. Just go through your journey. That journey will have certain failures, will have certain dips, will have certain tipping points, will have successes. It's a lot of catharsis for the guest speaker also.
Sure.
And it's so much learning for us because now you are learning, you're getting inspired, you're getting motivated, you're reflecting towards your own self when you're listening to somebody else.
Guys, I always felt after coming out of college, I deep dived into my business. And I always thought that I have no time for anything else. But the first meeting that I attended with Reciprocity, there was so much of learning. I still remember the distinguished guest who spoke about the role of artificial intelligence that would surface in the coming years, and that practically we're seeing today. And I feel that Reciprocity is one forum where actually learning never stops. And I always wanted to be a part of one kind of community where, despite me being very, very busy, I touch point in that 1.5 hour of a business meeting every Monday morning that sets me off for the whole week.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful initiative. What is the qualification criteria for somebody to be a member at Reciprocity?
So the basic qualification that you need to have, you should be learning agile. You should have it in you
Sure.
to learn. You should be a business owner. We generally have a criteria, an eligibility criteria that you should have at least 5 years of experience. But having said that, we get a lot of people who are business owners who had long-standing associations with the corporate sector. They quit their jobs and then they start and they say, I don't have 5 years of business. But well, you have more than 15 years or whatever years at the corporate. You've been at work.
Of
So
course.
that counts as your wisdom. Having said that, I don't mean that we will not take youngsters or we do not like to have them there. We do.
I've seen them all the time.
Yes, we do. We would love to have youngsters. Youngsters, startups, startup founders who are eager to learn, who are eager to grow, who are committed, have a certain sense of discipline in them. We would love to have them with us.
I was about to bring this point up, and you got it yourself. I think that people in Delhi NCR who are a startup must pay close attention to forums like these because there is a lot to learn, there is a lot to display, and there is a lot to get feedback from. And that is what beautifully Reciprocity does. So there is a mix of all age groups. How do these people gel together? Because today I see a lot of people they like to check out the vibe of any place before they just enter, whether it's a restaurant or a club or a nightclub. I even know people who say, I wouldn't go to that nightclub for a drink because I find only older people there. How do you think people react to reciprocity with a mix of age groups?
Great question, Mohit. And now that you were talking about it, I was actually thinking. So, when you enter a room, like I mentioned earlier, where everybody says, okay, what can I give you today?
Yeah.
The energy changes. Now you have a group of people who are youngsters and you have some older people. I won't say old, but older in age than them. And they're wise, they're mature people. The mature or the older people are very happy to be amongst youngsters because that's the energy they look for. So the vibe, the positivity in the room, the learning agility that everybody comes with, the open-mindedness that they come with because they are here to meet people, they are here to learn, they are here to give, they are here to listen to people.
Or probably the exchange of young minds and fresh ideas.
Yes, so the young mind is very happy because they have some wise, mature people to guide them, to tell them through their experiences and their journeys. And the older people are very happy because they have youngsters who are looking up to them.
Sure.
And they learn both ways.
So it's like attending a dinner party at my house where I have all the senior people
Yes.
looking at me and advising me where am I going wrong, what am I doing great. So it's like a grilling session. But I'm sure Reciprocity has a lot to offer on the table,
Yes.
for young people to join in. So guys, if you're a startup and if you have some great ideas, like Kanchan said, that there is no in particular criteria, but your CV definitely counts. And if you have more than 5 years of any kind of experience and you want to experience reciprocity, they are more than welcome. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. The easiest way is to connect with us, attend a reciprocity meeting because it's difficult to put it in words because reciprocity is an experience and you have to experience it. You cannot put it down in words or even a video will not do justice to it. You have to be a part of it, to experience it, to know what it is.
I wanted to bring the first debut of Gurugram Pod, starting with you, is because I believe that all businesses start with connections. There was a very interesting conversation I had the other day with somebody, and he said, Mohit, what are you going to do if I take away all your customers? And I told him I have to restart. And how do you restart? And well, you need to go and create new connects. The fundamental of every business is to connect with people, and connections are very, very important. And when you graduate from your college to your business life or a professional life, and you start to making the right connect, in my opinion, you have arrived. And the word reciprocity, what you give is what you get, give for gains. Let's talk a little bit more on a more philosophical angle. I want you to answer, do you practice and do you believe that, has it ever happened to you that you just helped somebody out of nowhere and something happened and somebody helped you out? Did it ever really happen to you?
Loads of times. And I'll repeat this again. It's so easy to connect the dots backwards, but reciprocity has become a default setting for me. I don't know, probably I had it earlier. That's why it started out like that. And People call me, they just give me a call, Kanchan, can you connect me to so and so? And my mind starts working.
I do that all the time.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's default setting,
Yeah.
That's because reciprocity becomes ingrained in you. It's your second nature. You will help people out. But do you think it goes waste? It doesn't.
Never.
I have to give you examples where, and this could be a very small example, but I took my mom for a test once to Medanta, and I was told that, oh, you have to wait for 4 hours until you get your turn. I was like, yeah, why? That's how it is. And I was sitting there, it was barely 15 minutes, and I have this lady who walks up to me and said, are you Kanchan? I said, yes. And she was known to me from somewhere. And she said, oh, how come you're here? I said, I'm here for my mom's test. In the next 30 minutes, the test was done. And when I walked out, somebody told me, are you done? I said, yes. They said, it takes 4 to 6 hours for this to happen. And the only thing that I could think of is, I've probably done some good somewhere for people to reach out to me. Otherwise, nobody owes me anything. And this is just one very small part of it.
Sure.
I have seen this pan out in business, in personal lives, in the kind of work I get from people. People come to me thinking that she's always been giving.
Yeah.
So that builds a certain credibility or a repertoire in their mind for me. And that's how they come. And I think I'm blessed, not because I've done it intentionally, but to give this example was just to say that goodness given comes to you in various forms and in all forms, and you don't know where it'll come back.
Well said. So with your permission, I will reiterate, guys, if you walk into a forum like Reciprocity and you feel that you do not have much to give, but you're expecting too much, then the word reciprocity fails. We all need to start understanding what are we bringing to the table before we receive anything. And in my personal experience, I've seen it many a times. It is not that when you help somebody, you expect the same from the same very person. Universe works in a different fashion. When you help somebody, then somebody will help you. Am I right?
Absolutely. And Mohit, that line that you said, that when you walk into a forum, you have to give. That sometimes intimidates people, especially the youngsters, because they don't have a huge network.
Yeah.
Or even if they have the network, they're not sure that if they recommend or refer somebody, it will work. And the question that comes to me is, Kanchan, it's a great forum. I'd love to be a part of it. And I know that a lot of people can support me, help me, and I can gain a lot. But what bothers me is, will I be able to give? My response to them always is, don't take it as a pressure that I have to give. Just be open-minded, and you will be surprised how much you can give and in what forms you can give.
Kanchan, my next question to you, I really want you to clear the brain fog out of the young generation. Some people may think that I'm going out of the line to generalize everyone, which I'm not. Definitely not. Everybody is not the same. But the younger generation today, the term social climbing, you go to somebody's party and you meet a friend's friend who's a friend, that kind of phrase. And a lot of people think that we need to be very selective in bringing who to the party, because, oh, she's a social climber, you can't introduce him, this guy takes a lot of favors, So this is the kind of setting and narrative that I see today in most of socializing circles. And I always feel that when you go to somebody's party, it's none of your business to discuss business. It's what you do from 9 to 5 and what you do from 5 to 9 is very, very different. So for me, attending a social event is all about recreation. For some people, attending a social event is all about making connections, because probably they've not heard of the term reciprocity, which they know now. But I still feel that people hesitate to give out connections. So I'll give you one example from what happened with me. I introduced a couple of people and things went bad between them. And somebody just out of the blue prompted me, why do you have to get into this all the time? And I laughed and I thought about you, because we have been fundamentally trained to connect people. You and I both were part of business networking organizations before, and now that you run one, I've been at Reciprocity many, many times, and I thoroughly enjoy the feeling it sets in to you that we need to connect as many entrepreneurs as we can, and we need to support people. And I myself have got a lot of reciprocity in return. You've connected me to great people. From the forum, we've got a lot of business that's coming in, but people still shy out of giving their connects. So, what do you have, the word of wisdom that you have for youngsters in opening up?
Okay, so that's a lot of points for me to address, but I will start with the social climber bit that you started with. Social climber, essentially, I think is a very judgmental word for somebody who wants to go out, meet people. Just because they have an agenda, we call them climbers.
Yeah.
And we call them climbers because we feel they're not adding to anybody's life. And that's why we are judging them with a negative connotation. But look at the effort the man is or the woman is making, the person is making to step out to meet people. It takes effort.
Dress to impress.
Dress to impress. They get out of their comfort zone. They
Yeah.
get to meet you. They get to know you. And they don't look at you and they start saying that, okay, what can you give me? No. They start with a social connection. Now, if you start judging people, it's negative.
Right.
But if we don't judge them and we start building an association with people who we meet without judging them, the whole thing turns just positive. And what does reciprocity do essentially? So I come with a background and with a thought process that everybody has a story, everybody has a journey, everybody has conditioning, values, experiences. And we are basically a sum total of all of that.
Absolutely.
Now, if I welcome a person with a positive thought process, the person may not be tuned or ingrained, or their default setting is not to be authentic. They put on a certain facade for the world. Fair enough, that's what makes his clock tick. That's good. But if I am going to be consistently transparent, authentic, and open with the person, at some point that mask will fall.
You've given me a great idea here, where it just popped up in my head right now that initially everybody starts like social climbing, so we don't judge them because they're putting a lot of effort to be a part of a group. What happens if you've heard with your name that you're a social climber, you start giving back to the society one day, and the whole process turns into reciprocity?
Will I still be judged as a social climber?
Not at all.
Exactly.
You cleared the fog back again.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I think being a social climber, using the word social climber is a very negative connotation. I think we should look at it with a very positive thought process that,
Sure.
people are making that effort to step out. And, very interestingly, this came up one day when I was talking to someone at some get-together, when they asked me, how does it feel to be a part of a networking forum or to be a founder of a networking forum, and why? So I told them, when you meet somebody for the first time, we all put our best foot forward. Second, third, fourth, and then you gradually get to know them. It's like falling in love again and again. What happens when you fall in love? You meet a person, you like the person because the person has put their best foot forward. And then you want to know more about the person.
Right.
So networking, meeting new people, knowing them again and again, because there is a certain frequency that the community expects for you to be there. And that frequency helps you get to know those people. Is akin to falling in love, because now you want to know that person more. You want to know, what does that person do? How does he feel? How does the person behave with people? How is he professionally? How are they personally? Without any emotional strings. Isn't that great?
It's an absolute great. Tell me, the word referral. A lot of people use that word and say, I have a referral to give you. I think it takes a lot of effort to connect to people. Because when you refer somebody, it goes with a lot of trust that you display in them. Okay. So there could be bad or good. What is referral for you, and how much credibility does it bring to the kind of people that you connect? And how does reciprocity work around the term referral? Do you straight away start recommending your members, or is there a process where we ensure that referrals are 100%?
So, we were told at some, at the one of the networking communities that I was a part of, the difference and how to discern between a lead and a referral. And it stuck with me. You only refer a person when you feel the person is credible enough to be referred. Because when you refer someone or a business, you put your credibility on the line. Now, when it's your credibility on the line, would you refer somebody who you do not trust? No.
But I feel then a lot of people shy out of referring because if something goes bad, my name is going to get stuck there and I did that referral. So, what is your delicate balance on that?
So when we are dealing with humans,
Yeah.
there is a lot that happens.
Every
I
time.
could get along with somebody really well, and there could be somebody else who does not get along with the person at all. Now, those are energies, those are vibes, those are egos, various things at play. But when I have to refer somebody, if I am comfortable, if I have up till my knowledge that this person is referable, and I can put my credibility and myself on the line to vouch for this person, I would refer them. But it's not necessary that when I refer that person forward,
I stand guarantee for
I
that.
stand guarantee for them. That's one. Two, things just might go very smooth, things just might dive south. Now, that is interaction between those two people. There are a lot of things at play at that point.
Sure.
So, there is only so much that you can do when you refer someone. And as long as your intent is clear, as long as you're authentically putting your own credibility on the line, saying that yes, you require this service and I can vouch for this person, fair enough. What happens thereafter, you cannot hold guarantee for anything.
Guys, that brings me to an incredible point in our conversation. Very subconsciously, we try to connect people, even if you have not gone through a formal training process of how networking works. Very subconsciously, we connect people. And if somebody gives you a call and say, hey, do you know of a lawyer? And you would just pick up your best friend's number and pass it on. And what Kanchan just said was a lot of sense. There is a difference between a lead and a referral. And I think there's a lot to learn from Kanchan and reciprocity.
I'm learning.
Yes, we all are learning. And, converting one lead into a referral takes a lot of trust from the group and the members. So, has it ever happened at Reciprocity that because of non-performance, you had to ask somebody to leave?
Yes. And on a few occasions, so at times there have been situations where I have really not faced a personal issue with a particular member, but some things have come to my notice. And when they come to my notice, the member may not have done something intentionally, but you realize that the culture of that office or that company or that person's work entails something like that. So my next thing to them is that either you clarify, or if you become non-referable for me, then there's no point of being in the forum. You come here, you meet people, fair enough, you're learning. But if I can't refer you to somebody else,
Then
or
there's
to
no
my own
point.
self, then there is no point.
Yeah.
Because, see, at the end of the day, it is a business forum. It's not a school. It's not an image workshop.
Right.
So it's a very wholesome ecosystem that we have created. And when we say business networking, it's important that we are able to generate those referrals. We should be able to refer our people. And if that is not happening, then I think you need a new school that will
Wow.
help your image.
Guys, There is also something very exciting about reciprocity, and that is the Reciprocity Book Club.
Yes.
And Kanchan, you find niche and you find actually the vacuum areas where people need to connect. And book club sounds like another great initiative for people in Gurgaon. Tell us more about how it started and what's the thought behind running a reciprocity book club alongside.
So the book club was actually started along with a friend who was also a co-founder with us at Reciprocity, and he said that, Kanchan, let's start a book club. And the idea was that, some of us who are fond of reading books, we read a lot of non-fiction and fiction books. Fiction is the easiest because it helps us transform to another state of mind, gives us a break. It's like watching a TV in your own head. But the non-fiction books are the ones that actually help us become a better person of how we are or what we are today. And why I say that is, when we go for a workshop or we attend a college or a university or a class, there is somebody teaching us something. And we go there to learn. But what happens along the way is we start judging the teacher, which affects the learning to a certain thing. Because when the person is teaching us something, even if it's a coach, when they are telling us to do something, we start judging. Does this person do it themselves? इसने अपना कुछ किया है कभी? But when you're reading a book, you don't know who you're judging because there is nobody to judge.
Right.
And nobody's telling you anything. You are reading it yourself. You are telling yourself. And that is something, the best way to learn. The most non-judgmental way to upgrade your software in your own heads is to read a book.
Wow. So, is Reciprocity Book Club the same members, or is it different, or anybody
So the
can
Reciprocity
join?
Book Club is open to all members
nice.
and non-members. And the idea only being, the only criteria being, read the book. Because when we read a book, when 10 people read the same book and then they come and discuss it, each person understands the book from a different perspective, from their own journeys and their own mindsets and their own thought processes. So if you're a very spiritual person, you will be surprised that a book of strategy also will have a perspective on spirituality.
Well, a great book is Bhagavad Gita then.
Absolutely.
An MBA and spirituality together.
Exactly. So if we see today that the Bhagavad Gita has now been translated into various forms, you get business advice from there.
Sure.
You get strategy advice from there. So similarly, when you read a book and there are 10 people discussing it, they will all give their perspectives and their takeaways and their understandings from their mindsets and the kind of people that they are. And that is the beauty of being a part of a book club. And it was started on a very, very selfish note that we would like to read. And what better than to read and discuss with other people so that it will open our minds to not just the learnings that we can absorb, but to understand that this was also there. It's like watching a movie 10 times again to realize, oh, this scene I didn't realize earlier.
Yeah, sure.
So similarly, when 10 people read the same book and come, you realize that there were parts of the book that you did not register and somebody else registered and has brought it forward to you. So I think the book club is one of the most beautiful things that we have. It gives us a structure because we read a non-fiction book over 15 days and we discuss it on a Sunday morning. And the most important thing is that we meet people beyond just reciprocity members. There are people who would like to be a part of the book club because there is so much to learn from books. And honestly speaking, the book club actually becomes a very sacred space also, because when you're discussing the book and you're discussing your perspectives and of what you have been able to take away or how it has impacted you, sometimes we bring out the most innermost feelings or the innermost things in us outside while we are discussing.
Well said. Yeah.
And that makes it a very sacred space.
True. So there are two great initiatives, guys. There is Reciprocity Forum for Business and Networking, and there is Reciprocity Book Club, which is open to all to join. Kanchan, you're doing a great and an incredible initiative. Tell me, what has been your toughest challenge at running Reciprocity?
So I think the toughest thing has been my ability or disability to be able to disengage on an emotional level, because I feel reciprocity is here. It's right next to my heart.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And to grow any business, I don't look at it as a business. I look at it as a passion.
No, we all know that you run your separate business,
Yes.
which is doing very well. So Reciprocity is your passion project.
Reciprocity absolutely is my passion project.
And, it's more like I see the connect, what I took as a takeaway, and I've seen a lot of guests saying the same thing, that it's more like a family.
Yes.
And I thought that we are all very emotionally connected. So are you trying to say that sometimes it becomes very difficult to disconnect that emotional quotient?
Yes, absolutely. Because if I do not disconnect, if I do not uh, keep it aside, it's not going to be able to grow, because I've kept it right next to my heart. I'm overly attached to it. And I'm not willing to let it dilute. So for anything to grow, there will be a certain amount of dilution. And I have to be prepared for that.
Right.
So I think that's one of the most difficult things. I have guests who come to me, I have guest speakers who come and they say, Kanchan, this is such a fabulous forum. What you guys are doing is so fabulous. Why aren't you growing? And when I ask myself this question, and then I answer that I'm not growing because I'm not being able to step back. So once I step back, I will be able to let it move out on its own to grow. And the fear is dilution. So I think that's one of the most difficult things, and I'm now starting to work on it.
Yeah, because, I kept asking you that, your size of this chapter is full. Why aren't we starting a new chapter?
Yes.
And I think you are very cautious of handing over the delegative authorities to somebody who can really take it under your nose.
Absolutely. And so, I behave like a mother who's not willing to give up her child out with the fear that they will not be able to manage it as well as I can. And I think that is my biggest drawback, and that is something that's very difficult for me, but I do realize that has to happen.
We definitely will find you a great person.
Yes.
And a great connect who can actually start a new chapter for you.
Thank you.
Bringing this to, I'm sure my viewers are really thinking, what does it take financially to be a member of Reciprocity? Leaning, learning, and growth, and there is some part of financial involvement to become a member with Reciprocity. Is it a lot? What do we have to pay? I mean,
So we don't ask you to break the bank.
yeah, obviously not.
And so the amount that it's an annual membership, and the amount is best discussed after you experience it. Because, like I said, I don't want to be judged before you experience reciprocity. Because what happens is, if I give out a figure to you right now, and people right now, they will start comparing with the other forums around. And that'll just take away and dilute the whole essence of what we've spoken all this while.
Okay, so guys, Kanchan is not willing to tell us how much it takes as an annual fee, but I'm sure there are set rules to her annual fees, and she's not going to interview you and charge you accordingly. But the question was asked in the spirit to people to know, but I'm sure it is somewhere on the same bandwidth as other networking forums. But very well said. Experience Reciprocity, whether it is worth it or not. That is the big question. So I think that if you want to be on the part of Reciprocity, one of the Monday mornings, the great energizing Monday mornings that I call, you reach out to me and I will get you connected to Kanchan Satpathy, and we will have you as a guest for the first meeting, where you only pay for your breakfast that you eat, and that is all about it. Is that right?
Absolutely right. I will share the registration link, and you can share that with the audience, and it'll be great if you can register there and let us know about yourself, and we will invite you for one of our meetings, which will be offline, because that's where we call our guests when we have a guest speaker, and for you to experience reciprocity in its full form. Ideally, that is the best. And then thereafter, we will tell you all the commercials which will seem very petty.
Yeah, I know because I personally I know how much it costs,
Yes.
but I'm not willing to say it myself because very rightly you said that experience something and then tell us what are you willing to pay to be a part
Absolutely.
of this community, and even one great referral can set you off a big order, and that amount turns out to be very, very petty. But again, having said that, it is not the mindset that you join reciprocity with thinking what I will gain, but we need to start giving first to the community.
Absolutely. And it's not just about referrals. Once you experience reciprocity, that is the time when you will be able to say, okay, I would like to be a part of this community, not just for my professional growth or not just to get business, but let's say for learning or leaning in or my personal growth. There will be various parameters, and that's where then you decide if it would make sense for you to be a part of it.
Could you give me an example before we end of some people who really made fortune out of reciprocity?
You're one of them.
Yes, I am. In fact, guys, I would like to tell you that Kanchan and me worked on a big project, which is North India's biggest salon interior styling together. And it just came up on the table. We were talking, and I had this project to discuss with Kanchan, and we worked on it. And today, we sit here enjoying the tag that we designed the largest salon in North India. So it just so happened. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So there are various things and various people who've done very well, who have been validated from members for doing something that was beyond their businesses.
So, Kanchan, give me a success story. Has somebody really made it big from reciprocity, being a member, and somebody just made a fortune? I'm one of them, of course, and I get a lot of connects and contacts and a lot of business to my skin clinics, to manufacturing practices, to my art galleries. So I've got a lot of business from reciprocity. But do you remember of somebody who really made it big?
So, in the reciprocity meeting, the last section is about the business done within the forum and the business done outside the forum.
Yes.
And the business done within the forum today stands at about 10 CR.
Wow.
And the business done outside, that is the community business, is about 5 CR. Now, what is community business? Community business is about guest speakers who come. When they experience reciprocity, when our members meet them, we end up giving business to them or they end up giving business to us. 10 CR business within the forum is an understandable point because, okay, that's what we are here for.
Right.
And there are people who've done really big businesses. As a matter of fact, I know somebody who came in at a certain category and did business not just when he was a part of the forum, but did business beyond that also, and really did very well. We have people who've done business as guests and guest speakers as part of the forum. And that's one part of it. The other part of it is very interestingly, and now that you speak about and you ask me about it, and I look back and I realize there are a lot of my members are also doing alternate or second businesses.
Yeah.
And the other day I had somebody who told me that, Kanchan, we find it very comfortable when we come to you with an idea and you tell us, go right ahead. Why are you not doing this? Even if that is not the bread and butter for you. And I think that's a very big takeaway because all of us have certain businesses that bring the bread to the table. Even if you're a guest, because reciprocity believes in giving,
Yeah.
you will get something.
Even
You just
from your
might-
trial meet.
Even from by just being a guest.
Wow.
That is the power of reciprocity.
Guys, I strongly recommend you guys if you live in Delhi and NCR. But since this is Gurgaon Pod, and I also saw in one of your meetings you have this big screen and you have a grid of people who are not physically present in the meeting. Is the forum open for all? Because I saw some people are not even in India. So is the forum open for all?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that out. And so, because of technology, thanks to COVID, that has uh, taken technology and all of us at least 10 years ahead
Yeah.
today, we are a hybrid forum.
Okay.
We meet twice a month offline. And even when we meet offline, there are a few of our members who are, if they are not in the town or they are in another city or town or country, they log in from there. And the online meeting, we are all logged in. So
Right.
we have that comfort, we have that opportunity where you can be a part of the community by being in another city, in another country, obviously, the timelines being taken care of. But that can be done. We also invite guest speakers who are actually sometimes in the US or Australia or London or Hong Kong, anywhere in the world.
Sure.
They log in and they give their keynote or they reach out to us or share their experiences online, because we don't want to be restricted to only people who can come
So that gives me a breath of ease, not going to the school like other forums and not having to be physically present
all the time.
all the time. So I can still be excused if I'm online, but
Absolutely.
at the same time, I don't miss on the opportunity of attending this incredible meet every week.
Also, when members are traveling, it's easier for them to log in online.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great thing.
Yes.
So thank you, Kanchan, for being on the first debut program of Gurgaon Pod. And I think that people will definitely reach out to you after this show and they would want to experience what reciprocity is. We do hope that you bring great connections for people in Delhi, NCR, and beyond. And we wish you great luck for reciprocity.
Thank you so much, Mohit, for giving me this opportunity to put reciprocity in the forefront. And like I've always said, reciprocity is a mindset, it's a thought process. And if we can put that out and make sure that everybody can think of their lives and have reciprocity ingrained in that as a default setting, I think we will all make a much better world. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, guys, Gurgaon Pod is making special initiatives for you to identify great forums, great restaurants, great places, great opportunities to invest in Gurgaon, in Delhi, in NCR, and beyond. We will help you bring prominent personalities on our show every Friday night so that you can know what's happening. I request you all to like, share, and subscribe our channel so that we can keep doing this great work for you guys. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I will see you in the next one.